Hello, everyone. Welcome to P Podcasting. My name is P, and I'm here today with Mr. Vuyo Zungula. How are you, Mr. Vuyo?
Siyaphila kanjani bhuti?
I know, Sepira. Firstly, Baba, I want to express my gratitude by saying I'm grateful for honoring my invite at the P Podcast. This episode is beyond time. It should have been done months ago. So I'm grateful for that. Okay, maybe let's start here. The ATM was formed in 2018. Where were you all these years before 2018?
Before 2018, I went to varsity. I did my undergrad in Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University. From there, I went to work in different companies around Gauteng. So when ATM was formed, I was an employee of a company I was working for. However, when it comes to dealing with the issues concerning the people, every time we as people, South African citizens, wake up in the morning, we deal with the lived realities of the people, whether it's crime, it's unemployment, it's load shedding. So, the notion that seeks to say politicians are only those people with membership of political parties, I don't agree with that statement because every South African citizen is a politician because they get to experience the hardships that are caused by the politics of the day.
The degree that you were doing at the university, was it related to the political studies?
No, 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 it was not. It was business management. So it was largely more about the leadership, accounting, and business management. It was really about politics. I never did any module in the undergrad that had anything to do with politics.
So, why do you think the ATM, when it was formed, they trusted you to be a vehicle in terms of passing the message or the ideology that they have as a political party?
The ATM is very serious about the future of the country. Therefore, when you invest in a young person, you are investing in the future. When I was given this responsibility, I think I was 30 years old at the time, which shows the amount of faith that the ATM has in young people for the benefit of the future. So it is in that regard because it was an investment so that in the long run, South African citizens get to do away with this notion that the politics should only be about older people because we need to encourage young people to be involved in politics.
And indeed, I can testify in terms of that because I can see as part of them schooling you to give young people the opportunity, you also gave me the opportunity as a young person. But now, what are the policies of the ATM, the ideology of the ATM? What is it all about?
Yeah, let me speak about the policies so that we're able to translate the ideology to the lived realities of the people. Firstly, we want to have South Africans who live dignified lives. A person, in our view, that is able to live a dignified life is a person who's able to live in a safe community whereby they are free from crime and they are able to live free from poverty and they are able to provide for their own families in the sense that they need to be employed or run a business. So, amongst those things, we are saying that, for example, to deal with the economy issue, we've got a very high unemployment rate in our country. So, when you talk about making sure that South Africans are economically active, because if you're economically active, it's either you have a job or you are running a business. If you have any of the two, then you are going to have income that will make you to be able to provide for your family. Now, the economy of our country is structured in a manner that allows only a handful of players to participate in the economy. Look at all industries, telecommunications industry. You won't count more than seven companies there. Go to the banking industry, you won't find more than seven banks. Go to the construction companies, you won't find more than seven, meaning you've got very few families or very few companies that are owning majority of the wealth in our country. So that is why we are a transformation movement because we're saying the economy must be transformed in order for all people to benefit from the economy. So we're also equally saying that it is problematic that if you look at how the goods that we have in our country, they are produced elsewhere. You could look at the clothes we are wearing now, they are produced in China. Look at the umbrellas we are using because it's in summer, they are produced in England. Look at the sneakers that young people love, they are produced in other countries. Look at even the plates or the cutlery they use when eating every day. They are also made in other countries. So, of the very strong view as a party to say we need to boost local production of goods and services so that, as much as possible, the goods that are used in South Africa are produced here in South Africa. And we only import things that we cannot produce locally here. And then the last thing is to say we want to promote SMMEs because the SMMEs all over the world, they are the biggest creators of jobs. However, if you look at our country, you are going to have a case whereby you are going to have um, a government that is spending over 80% of its budget on big business. Big business, which is the bigger companies. However, if it was the SMMEs, it would enable different and various players to participate meaningfully in the economy. So that is why we are saying that for every government department, municipality, 50% of its spending must go to SMMEs. Secondly, all government contracts, which is any tender of the government that is below 10 million rands, must be set aside for a company that is defined as an SMME. So, amongst other things, where I can speak about the policies and ideology for a very long time, but I think let's just focus on the economy part of things because that is how we want to create jobs. That is how we want South Africans to live dignified lives. Because once people are economically active, banemsebenzi, and they are running their own businesses, then you're going to be dealing indirectly with some of the problems, such as crime, because crime is heavily influenced by the unemployment rate. You are going to deal with the problems of the social problems, which is alcohol, substance abuse, because majority of young people who end up taking drugs, drinking alcohol, is because they do not have a will to live because there's nothing they can do. They wake up, they've got nothing to do. Kufike umntu, abe kutywala, then they drink. So that is why for us, making South Africans to have money is the top of our priority. And we want that money to be meaningful in the sense that we want jobs, we want them to run businesses, and they need to have proper support in order for them to be able to do well in life.
Can you touch this perspective a bit? I know that one of your ideology is Christian democracy. I know that one day the party will want to govern. So I will wish to understand how does the ATM will govern, or let's say maybe we wake up tomorrow and you are the president of the country and the party is based on the Christians. So in a country where there is a variety of religions, so I see the imbalance there. Can you please explain that to us who doesn't understand, perhaps?
Yeah, so the party is a faith-based political party, meaning it is anchored on a value system that brings us together. If you talk about Ubuntu, regardless whether a person is a Christian or not a Christian, they subscribe to the concept of Ubuntu. When you talk about peace, you can go to a person that does not even believe in a God, but if you speak about peace, they will want to say, but we agree we need to live in a peaceful society. So we are a values based organization, values that bring us together instead of values that are only focused on a certain level of people. So you could see in the 5 years that we've been in parliament, how would approach governance in our country. Because we approach governance in the sense that as a government, you are a servant of the people. You need to understand what are the wants of the people. If the people want a very, very tough stance on crime, you need to do what General Mkhwanazi is doing in KZN. Take General Mkhwanazi, make him national commissioner, and tell General Mkhwanazi he must replicate himself to 9 provinces and all districts so that we've got a no-nonsense approach when it comes to the issues of crime. So that is how you govern a country. You listen to the people because we don't believe that government or presidents or ministers possess bigger wisdom than the people. We believe that the people possess bigger wisdom or the true intellect and wisdom more than the people that are elected. The people who are elected are supposed to be doing what the people want, not the other way around.
And I can say that in the 5 years of your existence as the political party, the ATM, I can say that the ATM is a force.
Mm.
Do you think you agree with the statement in terms of the growth in the 2019 election, in the 2024 election? How was the growth of the
Mm.
political party?
Yeah, ATM did grow, even though we're not satisfied with the elections. Let me tell you why.
Mm.
Firstly, there is um, things that should not be accepted as normal
Mm.
that are happening in our country.
Mm.
And these things that are not supposed to be accepted as normal
Mm.
are the things that we need to correct. For example, if you go to a voting station, you don't see the party agent of the party you want to vote for.
Mm.
There is a very, very big chance that you won't vote for that party simply because you know that if it does not have a party agent there, there's no one who's going to safeguard the votes of those parties. If you go to many communities, they'll tell you, why should we vote? Because they still votes so that only one party wins. It's a reality. Even in these elections, I had friends of mine who went to the voting station when they were voting for ATM, took a photo of the ballot paper.
Mm.
However, when you look at the results
Mm.
of the VDs that they were voting in, ATM has got zero,
Mm.
which clearly shows that there is something that we need to correct. However, you find that any talks about confronting all the wrongs or corruption or misdemeanors in the IEC is seen as not wanting to accept the results.
Mm.
However, our view as the ATM is that if there's a problem, let us confront the problem. If majority of the people do not have any form of trust or faith in the IEC,
Mm.
we can't just go on because communities do not trust the IEC. That is the honest truth.
Mm. Let's talk about the GNU. Uh, before before the GNU, I saw this the ATM was in support of the EFF, and during and because we are in the states now, I see now the ATM is in support of the MK. So, but to the surface level, we can see that, or some other people may say, maybe the ATM now is no longer with the EFF because of the separation, or what they call the exodus of what's happened in the EFF. So where does the ATM stand? Are they still in support of the EFF or in support of the MK? Or
The ATM has very good and cordial relations with majority of parties in parliament.
mm,
Your PACs, your UDMs, EFF, MK.
mm,
We are not in support of one party over another.
mm,
That is why earlier we are part of a progressive caucus, which includes both
mm,
MK and EFF. I'm sure if you might have checked my Twitter, I think it was yesterday,
mm,
I wished the EFF well
mm,
because they were attending, they are having
the NPA.
the NPA,
Yes.
which shows that we are working well together.
Mm,
So the party ATM could not be defined as being in support of Party X.
mm,
Rather, it has got good relations with all
mm,
parties. We, as the party, we work well with almost all the parties because we believe that we need to find ways to work together to unite as the progressive parties because that is the only way in which we can deal with the problems we face in our country.
mm. Do you support the GNU? Do you think it will work?
The GNU, the so-called GNU, is actually not a GNU.
Mm,
It is a coalition of the ANC and the DA. That is why in the statement of intent that Helen Zille and Fikile Mbalula mostly talk about,
mm,
it is only the DA and the ANC that what you call provided their inputs. They are the drafters of that statement of intent,
mm,
which is a coalition agreement between the ANC and the DA.
mm,
The other parties were just brought along to make
mm,
it appear as if there's a
mm,
broader collection of parties, whereas it is only two main parties
mm,
that are running that particular coalition.
mm,
We don't think it's going to work because it is premised on ideological and policy opposed
mm,
parties. Our view as a ATM is to say if you are going to have
mm,
a government is defined by being elected into power and for a mandate or a period of 5 years. Now, in that 5 years, there needs to be, they've been given a mandate based on their manifestos. Now they need to develop a program of action for the next 5 years. Now you can't have a government that does not have a program, because the question is, what are you going to do for the next 5 years? Now a program can only be developed by parties who share similar views as to how things should be done. For example, we've got a problem of crime in our country. So you need to have parties that have got similar views as to how to deal with that. You've got a problem of unequal education. So you need to have parties that are saying, here's a Bella bill that should be used as a means of rectifying that the inequality in the education system. Now, once you've got a DA that is anti-Bella, ANC that is pro-Bella, then you are bound to have problems. Also, look at the international politics or international relations. You need to have, again, a party that will speak in one voice and say, this is the position of the government. You'll recall a few months ago, the president of the country, representing the country, said Russia is an ally to South Africa. Then the minister of agriculture went out and said, actually, no, the president was not representing us. You're talking about two people serving in the same government. So it speaks to the discord and contradictions that you have once you've got different and opposing parties ideological and policy wise. So our view, any form of a government must be any form of a government that is most likely to succeed and also deal with the problems must be comprised of parties that are sharing the same views ideologically and policy wise.
Whilst we are talking about the education, I have this analysis about education, so I think you would correct me or have your input. So, I, one of my hustles, I am a tutor. So I'm an engineering student and also I'm a tutor for maths and physics. So one of the things that I've been observing is that what if the degrees for education can be phased out in this regard? We've got students who get 100% maybe in physics, in mathematics, 90%. Those students, they prove to you by getting those marks that they know the subject. But if they wanna be teachers, they will have to go to university for 4 years. What are they doing? Because they know the subject. They got 100%. So why? What if we introduce maybe a policy or a law that will say, if a student gets 100% in this degree in this subject, automatically the student qualifies to be a teacher? Do you think something like that can work?
Let's dissect what is the problem. The problem is the high unemployment and poverty rates. So what does education seek to do? Education, in our view, ought to have a view to say, we are, through education, we are going to capacitate the young people or everyone in our country so that they are able to make a living by either running their businesses or being employed. Meaning, it's all about building capacity. It's not, people don't go to school for the sake of just having a degree certificate and then it ends there. They're going to go to school so that they get to have capacity. Capacity they can prove that they can utilize either at the workplace, in the workplace, or running a business. So to deal with this problem, one of the things that could be employed by the government is to say, from our economy, what is our economy anchored on? Let's talk about agriculture. Let's talk about the mineral wealth that we have in the country. I'll just mention those two. The education system must be anchored on those two because we've got vast minerals in our country. But you find that you don't have, I can ask people or young people, do they know the amount of minerals we have in the country? Do they know how those minerals are processed? So you find that education, instead of being used to open people's minds and give them capacity to make living based on the strength of the country, which is the mineral wealth, it is saying nothing. That is why, as a country, we are going to be exporting minerals to other countries. When we export to other countries, then those other countries, they process them. They make rings, they make earrings, they make all of these things, and then our own minerals are sold back to us simply because we don't have the capacity to process those minerals on our own. So that is the first level, which is let's utilize, the education system must answer a question at let's give capacity to our citizens in order to maximize the value of our minerals. So that's the first one. The second one is to say we've got courses whereby, because in the unemployment of our country, unemployment rate, you are able to see how many people are unemployed. If it's 15 million people that are unemployed, you can tell out of these 15 million, how many people do not have matric. So they will tell you maybe 65% or 55% does not have matric. Now, at a tertiary level, we're able to say or able to see from stats if there is X number of qualifications. And in these qualifications, we know that this qualification has led or has an unfortunate state that 90% of the people that do have this qualification are unemployed. Then it will enable the Department of Education to see that these qualifications, there's no demand in the market, because again, the when you go to school, and you study a course, you need to look, is there a demand in the market? You can't be going to school and studying something that you know that there's no demand for, because who's going to employ you? So the department must do that exercise in order to phase out some of these qualifications that lead or that have got a higher degree of unemployment, and keep those qualifications that are generally creating jobs, or generally there are jobs available for them, and make sure that we build capacity from the students. If a student was doing a qualification that does not translate to a job, let's find a way to make them have capacity for those industries whereby we know they're going to have jobs.
As part of celebrating you, Mr. Vuyo, one of the things that I really admire you for is, out of all the presidents of the political parties in South Africa, you are the youngest. Don't you feel pressure? Maybe sometimes.
Not quite. No, it's not right, because it's not about me as an individual.
Mm.
It's about the mandate that I have been given by the party, which is ATM, and also by the voters of South Africa. And I always say the fact that we've got 2 seats in parliament, we're not going to say we are going to serve the ATM voters. The fact that we are voted, immediately we become members of parliament. We are not members of parliament that are going to serve the interests of our voters. We need to serve everyone. The people that come to my inbox on social media to say they've got a problem about this issue, I don't ask, do you have a membership form of ATM? No, it's not about that. It's all about serving the people. So if young people that are in politics would change their attitude, because politics is not about you. It should not be about your ambition to be president of the country, to be minister, because you are going to end up signing deals, making deals with the devil, simply because you want to go ahead in life as an individual. Once you understand the most basic and most important principle of politics, that you are in it for the benefit of the people, then you'll always put the interest of the people ahead of your own.
Now let's talk about the presidency. Uh, After 1994, Nelson Mandela took over, and he was speaking about the issues of reconciliation. And then thereafter, there was Thabo Mbeki with the BCC, uh, the Black Empowerment. Also, the economy was raised, I think, up to like 5%. And then there was Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma also, there's all the commission shows that, there's some issues, but we must not hesitate to say this. Mr. Jacob Zuma gave us NSFAS. And then after that, there was Mr. Ramaphosa with the Tumamina thing. Do you think Mr. Ramaphosa is doing what, as he would say, Tumamina?
Yeah, I think, yes, we are in politics. So I think for us to make a thorough and objective analysis of the performance of any president, let us look at the indicators, because indicators can never lie. If one can look at from a crime perspective, in 2018, let's say January 2018, when Mr. Ramaphosa took over, the stats will tell you 34 people were killed on a daily basis. Now, in 2024, it is over 60 people that are killed on a daily basis, meaning he's not done better, because if you come in as a president, 34 people are killed on a daily basis. From a crime perspective, you need to reduce that number. But if that number goes up and doubles, it means you have failed. Similarly, when it comes to unemployment, this week we heard that the country lost about 133,000 jobs in the last quarter. And when Mr. Ramaphosa took over as a president, the unemployment rate was 26%. Now it is sitting at about 33%, which clearly shows again that he's not created jobs. So a president is not put into power so that the unemployment goes up. It's for the unemployment to go down. Look at, for example, the another indicator, which is the poverty. 55% of people were living in poverty in 2018, but now we're talking about 60%. So if you look at all of those indicators, everyone can clearly see that Mr. Ramaphosa has not been doing well as a president of the country.
Please explain to people what will be happening tomorrow, because I can see you are supporting, the ATM will be supporting the MK together with other political parties.
We were invited as the party, just like we invited in the different programs of different organizations. And like we've always done, even before the Progressive Caucus, by the way, we've always honored the invitations of different political parties, because we believe in one principle, AT. The reason why the majority, which is black people, who are numerically the largest group of people in our country, but when it comes to land ownership and the economy and how the laws of the country are, and socially, we are the poorest of the poor, simply because of our inability to unite. So the message that ever since ATM came to the fore that we've been preaching has been a message of unity. So by going to the different programs, it is to spread that message and to engage the different political parties to say, let's find a way to work together, not for ourselves, but for our people, because it is our people, it is the political parties who are denying the people a good quality of life by their inability to unite.
So the program for tomorrow is for the MK, or is the togetherness of the ATMs and the MK?
No, it's for MK. Okay. The MK is celebrating their 1 year anniversary. ATM and other parties have been invited.
While talking about the MK, do you think Mr. Jacob Zuma is a smart politician?
Yeah, he's very smart. Very, very smart.
Why, perhaps?
If you look at his said qualifications versus the amount of things he's managed to achieve whilst being president, and also, you know, if there's one thing that we can admire about Dala, he speaks from the heart about various issues. So if you are going to go to parliament, if you can watch his videos whilst he was president, when he's speaking in parliament, he's not reading a speech there. When he's talking about land, he will tell you this is what happened in 1912. This is why there's a problem now. There's no one that is going to write a speech for him in an iPad, and when that iPad is off, he does not have anything to say, because many political leaders now, they are programmed. And once we've got people that are programmed, their speeches, someone writes their speeches, and if they lose their papers or their iPads, then it means they are not going to be able to speak. Meaning, that is not a true leader. A true leader is able to speak to the people even if there is no written speeches, because a written speech, there could be someone writing a speech for you. Many of these departments have got speech writers, but as a leader, you don't need a speech writer. As a leader, you need to have the heart to you need to have the heart to love your people. And when you are standing in front of your people, you need to speak from your own heart and talk about how you are going to resolve their problems.
Today I was watching the speech of, because we're about to wrap up now. I was watching the speech of Sihle Lonzi, and he was saying um, the EFF is not going to be destroyed in the boardrooms because it was not formed in the bedrooms. But in those boardrooms, I'll assume he's talking about where the likes of Mr. Floyd, Shivambu, and the advocate Stalin Mpofu, and I think you, Mr. President, were in those boardrooms. I think Mr. Floyd said something like this. I don't know. I think he said something like that. So, respectfully, can you please unpack to us in terms of maybe what was the agenda about? Yes,
No,
positively.
yeah, yeah. I will, I will try. I will try because once you've got meetings that are not recorded,
Okay.
there's a purpose why we go to those meetings,
Okay.
and there's nothing sinister because here we are developing plans as to how to bring about true liberation to our people.
Yes,
Therefore, it becomes very difficult to take your plans to the media because what it effectively means you're exposing your strategies. But at a very high level, the meetings about how do we work together for the benefit of our people. And that working together does not require any party to be destroyed or to be dissolved. And that is not the that is not the concept of working together that transpired in those meetings.
But in that one thing in that meeting, one of the things that's a tricky there, I think Mr. Floyd Chibambo said, including the president of the ATM, agreed that we must form one political party and phase away the ATM and the EFF, and only Mr. Julius Malema did refused that offer. Was this true?
I'm not sure. I might not have heard that interview. But like I said, the meetings, the focus was about working together, and the working together that was discussed did not require any party to be dissolved or to be destroyed by anyone.
Mr. Vuyo, thank you for allowing me to interview you, and I think you are such a great individual. I remember there was another friend of mine, uh, because I was like posting on WhatsApp like a few months ago that I wish I can interview this gentleman, the president of the ATM. And he was like, "Oh no, by the way, I'm talking to him also. You are responding to the young people on the inbox." So for that, we are making us feel special. So we are grateful for that because you understand that we are the future. And from today going forward, we wish the ATM good luck. And also me by myself, like I also love the ATM.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very grateful and I'm honored.
Yeah, thank you so much. We also want to, the reason why many people, when they get invites to podcasts, they'll ask, how many followers do you have? How many subscribers do you have? For us, it's not about that. It's about firstly encouraging and inspiring young people to have conversations that actually build the country. Because if we having such conversations, even the people that have subscribed to your channel are able to know, okay, they're able to have constructive conversations, not conversations that do not take us anywhere as a people. Secondly, our belief is that you, as a person, always give a chance to the next person. Be the reason, like we lose nothing by having a conversation. We're not superstars as a people in the ATM. We are servants of the people, and therefore, whenever there is requests for us to engage, we'll always take those requests simply because we believe in young people, we believe in inspiring, encouraging young people, and we want to encourage the people that have not subscribed to subscribe, so that the channel grows. They must post on all their social media channels so that we get to have more of these platforms that are having constructive conversations about the future of our country. And the last thing, there's something that was said, or I think it is a slogan of one youth organization, ETI, nothing about us without us.
Mm.
If young people can take
Mm.
that mantra to say, we are the future of the country, and there's no way in which decisions can be taken about the future without us as young people being part of the decision maker. So this platform helps a lot in terms of unpacking to the people to say what is being discussed in parliament, what is being discussed in these boardrooms whereby decisions are taken about the future.
Well, I think you have said it all. One last question. God forbid, when it's all said and done, how would you like South Africans, the ATM, your family to remember you as?
I think as someone who, when given a chance, I gave it my all, and I did not want to be like other people, because as a person, you must never conform. You must not want to be like another person. Um, there's God created you in a unique way. So you need to be remembered in your uniqueness. Your strength as a person is in the capabilities, in your uniqueness, in the manner in which God has created you. So if people are able to remember you based on your contributions that you made, based on how unique you are, how unique you think, how you do things, how you talk, then you fulfilled your mission in life. But you start betraying your potential the minute you start wanting to be like another person.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vuyo.
Bonga
And
team.
I want to end this episode by saying I love the ATM. Thank you.
Thank you.